I'm going to show you guys how I made my delicious shrimp bowl. This recipe was so delicious and it's a good dinner idea. We're going to start off by cooking our beans. I'm just going to be adding 1.5 cups of beans to my bowl. And I'm just going to rinse them well. But here I just added the 1/2 cup. But I'm just going to make sure my pinto beans are clean. I'm just going to look through them, make sure there isn't any bad beans. But I'm going to place it in my pressure cooker. I'm going to add water until it covers the beans. And I'm just going to season my beans with onion powder, garlic powder, chicken bouillon, and salt. About 1/2 teaspoon of every seasoning. But I'm just going to add my chicken bouillon. And the bay leaf is optional. I usually add a piece of onion and about 2 cloves of garlic, 1 to 2 cloves of garlic, and 1/2 jalapeno. If you guys can look on my channel, and I have recipes on how I make my pinto beans and how I make refried beans. But yeah, I'm just going to cover my beans up and let them cook. I'm going to set it to pressure cook and let them cook for about an hour. But just cook your beans until they're nice and soft. And you guys can taste as you go. If your beans need more seasoning, then just add some more. But yeah. And you don't want to make your beans too salty or any other food that you're mixing in the shrimp bowl, because the shrimp is going to have Cajun seasoning on it. But yeah, I'm just going to heat my pan up. I'm just going to add some olive oil and butter. But I'm just going to be using 1 cup of rice, and I'm just going to rinse it and add it into my pot or my pan. But I'm just going to let my rice get golden a little bit. And I'm just going to mix it until it changes its color. Not like when you're making Mexican rice, when it's like really golden. You don't want to make your rice that golden, because we're just going to be making cilantro lime rice. So I'm just going to mix it until it has a little golden color to it. I'm just going to be following the instructions on how much water to add to my rice and how long to cook my rice. But I'm just going to constantly move my rice around, making sure it doesn't burn. And at this point, my eye is on medium heat. You do not want your eye on high, or your food will burn. But I'm just going to continue mixing. As you can see, it's almost there. But at this point, this is how you want your rice to look. And I used 1 cup of rice and I rinsed it. And I'm just going to be adding in 1.5 cup of water. I'm just going to add the other, I'm just going to be adding half a cup of water. I'm just going to mix everything together. And I'm just going to squeeze in 1 lime. If you guys like more lime juice, then you can add another one or a half of a lime. But this was the perfect amount of lime juice. I'm just going to squeeze all of the lime juice out. And I'm just going to be seasoning my rice with some chicken bouillon. I'm just going to be adding 1 teaspoon. And I'm also going to add a half a teaspoon of salt, but I added that off camera. But I'm just going to mix in the seasoning. And I'm just going to let my rice cook until it's done. I just follow the instructions on how long to cook the rice. And at this point, my beans have been cooking for 40 minutes. And I'm just going to turn my beans back on because they were not done yet. They were almost done, but I'm just going to start making the pico de gallo. I'm just going to add some chopped onions, some chopped jalapeno. I just used a 1/4 piece of onion, 1 tomato, 1 small bunch of cilantro, and a half of a jalapeno. I'm just going to add everything into my bowl. I'm just going to be adding 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm just going to squeeze in some juice of 1 lime. You guys can add as much lime as you want to your pico de gallo. But yeah, lime really makes the pico de gallo really good. The lime and the salt, but you want to make sure not to add too much salt or it'll be salty. But I'm just going to get all the juice and add it into the bowl. And I'm just going to mix my pico de gallo until everything's incorporated. And this pico de gallo was so good, and it went so well with this recipe. But at this point, I'm done making my pico de gallo. I'm just going to set it to the side or place it into the refrigerator. But this is my rice after it's been cooking, and I let it cool off for about 30 minutes. I'm just going to fluff up my rice. And at this point, I'm just going to add in my chopped cilantro. And I just chopped a small bunch up. I'm just going to mix it together. And this is when I added in my 1 teaspoon of salt. But it's better to add your salt in when you season it when you add the chicken bouillon. But yeah, I just did it afterwards. But I'm going to set the rice to the side and I'm going to work on the shrimp. I'm just going to be adding 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning. I used Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. And I'm just going to be adding 1 teaspoon of that. And I'm also going to be adding a half a teaspoon of paprika. And I'm also going to just sprinkle in some onion powder and some garlic powder. About 1/4 teaspoon of both onion powder and garlic powder. I'm just going to add some avocado oil, but you guys can use whatever oil you have, like olive oil or vegetable oil. But yeah, just add some type of oil to your shrimp. And I'm just going to mix it really good until every piece of shrimp is coated with the seasoning. But I'm just going to mix it. And at this point, we're ready to cook the shrimp. So in my pan, I'm just going to add some butter. About 1 tablespoon of butter. And I already have my eye on low, but I'm just going to turn it on on medium heat. And I also added in a little bit of oil so that the butter wouldn't burn. Just using butter, it'll just burn, so I added some oil. And then I'm just going to add in my shrimp and add in all of that delicious seasoning as well. But I'm just going to mix my shrimp around. And I'm just going to lay my shrimp flat on one side so that it can cook evenly. And at this point, my shrimp has been cooking for about a minute. And I'm just going to flip it to the other side. And shrimp, it doesn't take that long to cook shrimp. Maybe about 2 minutes. But when it turns pink and curl up, then that's how you know your shrimp is done. But I'm just going to flip all of my shrimp so that I can evenly cook the other side as well. But yeah, I'm just going to let this cook for about a minute. And at this point, it's ready. So I'm just going to give it a stir. And like I said, you guys don't want to put too much salt in your other food because Cajun seasoning has a lot of sodium in it. And yeah. But I'm just going to remove my shrimp from the eye and set it to the side. But this is how my shrimp looks. It looks super delicious. But now I'm just going to make some avocado salsa really quickly. I'm just going to be adding a medium-sized avocado to my blender. I just cut my avocado and remove the seed. And I'm just going to add my whole avocado into my blender. And I'm going to use a half of a jalapeno. But you guys can use a serrano pepper if you want. And if you want it more spicy, If you want it spicier, you could add a whole jalapeno and a half or 2 jalapenos. But I'm also going to be adding some Mexican crema, half a cup of Mexican crema. And I'm also going to be adding a small piece of onion. Along with 1 clove of garlic. And I'm just going to be adding 1 small bunch of cilantro. I'm going to add a few pinches of salt. I did about 4 pinches of salt, but you guys can taste as you go. I tasted my sauce to see if it needed more salt, and I just added more salt. And I'm just going to be adding a half a cup of whole milk to the blender also. And I'm just going to place the top on and blend this salsa until it's nice and smooth. And off camera, I added more salt. When I blended my salsa, I tasted it and it needed a little more salt. But yeah, just taste as you go. But I'm just going to add my salsa into my bowl. But at this point, I'm just going to quickly cook the corn. I'm just going to be adding about 1 tablespoon of butter to my pot. And I'm just going to let that begin melting. And I'm going to be using frozen corn. But if you guys wanted to, you could get fresh corn and then cut it off the cob and use it like that. But I'm just going to be using frozen corn. I'm just going to be using 1.5 cups of corn. I just added 1/2 cup, and this is the other half of a cup. So I added 1 cup of corn, and then I'm just going to add 1/2. And I'm just going to add about 1/2 tablespoon of butter. And I'm just going to mix it. And the corn cooked quickly. But at this point, I'm just going to season it with a little bit of salt. Like I said, you do not want to add too much salt to your other dishes because we're using Cajun seasoning. But yeah, when you add the shrimp into the bowl and like some of the butter from the shrimp, then it'll be enough salt. But yeah, you just want to start with a little salt. Like I said, you guys want to taste it as you go, but I'm just going to make the shrimp bowl. So I'm just going to add some of my cilantro lime rice along with some frijoles. And I'm just going to be adding some corn. And I'm going to be adding some of the shrimp or all of the shrimp. And this recipe was so delicious. You guys really need to try this recipe. It's really good. But yeah, everything went well together. But I'm just going to add some of my pico de gallo next. And I'm just going to add some of my avocado salsa, but I just added a lot. You guys can add as much or as little as you want, but I added a lot to mine. And yeah, this is how I made my easy and delicious shrimp bowls at home. I hope you guys try this recipe, and I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to me and give me a thumbs up. Adios.